In this video, I'm gonna go over how they killed the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. I personally loved the first movie, and to this day it's still one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. Andrew Garfield is amazing, and the chemistry between him and Emma Stone is great. The Lizard was also a really good villain with a great motive, but it really goes downhill in the second movie, and that's what I'm gonna be showing you in this video. So in the first movie, it started off with Peter playing hide and seek with someone. I'm pretty sure he was playing with his dad because when he saw a man's shoes behind the curtain, he pulled it back like he was expecting his dad. But in this movie, his dad is downstairs filming some video in the middle of the game. It sucks to see that immediately the movie already has continuity issues.
We're gonna be alright, okay? You stay with me?
Jesus, why did that actually scare me? As if it wasn't enough to get sucked out of the plane and fall to his death, they just had to make sure he smacks into the wing on his way down. God damn, the CGI here is actually amazing. I prefer the look of the suit from the first movie, but the looseness of the suit causing those ripples looks good and realistic.
This is bad. I'm gonna be right back. Heads up, watch out.
So he chose to save just his life instead of the several cars that were just crashed into and sent flying. Well, he is the main character of the movie after all, so maybe he took that in mind.
Lick that. Alright.
What the hell? He told him to lick his left hand, but in the next shot it's his right hand.
Hello? I'll be right there. Promise.
It's interesting that they changed the story in the first movie to make Gwen's dad tell him to promise to stop dating Gwen. In the comics, they instead had him tell Peter to treat her right. I think it actually works for the first movie and this movie though, with Peter having to deal with going against the promise he made just after promising her he'd be there. Emma Stone actually personally wrote Gwen's valedictorian speech, which is pretty cool. Oh, I actually love their relationship in the movies. It works so well because they started dating during filming for the first movie. Their chemistry is probably the best I've ever seen in a movie.
I break up with you.
This is really abrupt. It seems like he just started having doubts about breaking his promise to her dad, but then the same night he can't even go out to dinner with her. This was apparently supposed to be more explored in the original script, but a lot of it was cut out because of the studio. Their acting in this scene does help with the rushed feeling behind it. It makes it seem more real than it would with a mediocre performance. Though it is still hard to take in that they went from being in a happy relationship to being broken up in just 18 minutes into the movie. Also, when Gwen first comes out of the restaurant, you can see she's tying her coat closed, and it's clearly tied in this shot, but when it cuts to her walking back in, it's back untied.
What happened to your face? It's filthy.
It is? No, I was cleaning the chimney.
We have no chimney.
What?
I always loved this scene as a kid. It doesn't hit as hard now, but it's still pretty funny. You can see in Max's fridge here that he has an Electro-themed cake, which is a callback to the original comics, seeing as how it's not his colors, but the original character's colors.
Jameson pays me a fair wage. If it was 1961, he paid me a fair wage.
Peter says that Jameson pays him fairly for 1961, which is just 1 year before the original Spider-Man comic first came out. Meaning if he was getting paid what he is now in the original story, then it would be fair pay. Aw, that looks like an amazing sandwich. I hope nothing bad happens to it. Whoa, what the hell? Where did the lettuce go? Aw, shit. Here we go. The character that single-handedly ruined this movie finally shows up. This Harry just doesn't even compare to the original Harry from the original trilogy. It seems like there's almost no way they could have gotten this right with how good the last Harry was. His character is so different in this and it just makes him extremely unlikable. Jameson wasn't cast in this movie because they knew that no one would be able to live up to J.K. Simmons' performance, and I think they should have kept that up and just left Harry out of this movie. They already have Electro as a villain. I don't really see why they needed to throw him in too. They could have just stuck to one villain and really fleshed the character out instead of making it a chaotic mess. This actress was originally meant to play Black Cat in future films, but they ended up cutting most of her parts out of the movie and the rest of the franchise was cancelled. Maybe we'll never get to see another Black Cat in any Spider-Man movies.
Spider guys. Just one guy. Just one Spider-Man. Or woman. We don't know. For sure.
Every time Harry and Peter have a dialogue with each other, it just seems so forced. It seems like they're so uncomfortable talking to each other and aren't even speaking like real humans.
That place on 6, I know. You love it there.
How do you know that?
Oh, just because I've been stalking you and spying on you for the last few weeks, no big deal really. I really don't think Electro is a bad villain at this point in the movie. Harry's what really throws the whole thing off. Max has a decent motive for actually being evil, and you can really empathize with him. But Harry has no likable traits, and I think they could have just done without him and completely focused on Electro. This car just got completely destroyed pretty much, and the entire side of it is horribly damaged, but in this next shot, it barely looks like it's even dented. Why would water be the thing to have taken him down? If they shot regular old city water at him, it should have acted as a conductor and not weakened him at all. If anything, the electricity should have traveled back to Peter and the firemen. I wish they had come up with a better way to take him down here. Maybe I'm wrong about this and it does make sense for water to be his weakness. Let me know in the comments. He just put his suit on top of the briefcase and left it there when he went to his bed, but when he's looking at it now, the suit just disappeared. Is that what I think it is?
You took his picture. So? You know him.
What? I can't think of anyone over the age of 8 saying that line and thinking it makes sense. That's basically the same thing as if Peter watched the new Fast and Furious movie or something and Harry accused him of personally knowing Dwayne Johnson. Damn, can they get a little privacy? What's the spotlight shining in here for?
I mean, it's Peter. Everything's always complicated with Peter.
Yeah.
I don't like Harry at all. He kind of reminds me of Mark Zuckerberg. He's always trying to act like a regular human, but you can tell deep down inside he's definitely some sort of reptile. I guess Green Goblin is pretty fitting for him after all.
You kill me this time, because if you don't, I'm gonna kill the light.
It's an interesting choice to make his voice sound like it's also charged with electricity. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I don't like how quick his personality changed though. He went from being really shy and submissive to being really cocky and arrogant after just one taste of power. He still seemed really unsure of himself in his fight with Spider-Man, but now all of a sudden he acts like he's fully aware of his powers. I wonder if there were some scenes between this and the last time we saw him that just got cut out. I think this is really where the movie starts to go downhill. His left lens was just cracked by electricity, but in the next shot, it's his right lens instead.
I want to help you, Mr. Osborn. I really, really do. I can't give you my blood. Not right now.
He's not disguising his voice at all, but Harry isn't recognizing that it's Peter somehow.
I'm already dying. Your blood can't make me die more.
I swear, every time Harry opens his mouth, he says some third grade level line. This movie isn't as bad as I thought so far, but there's still way too many things going on at once and it's too hard to follow. It's hard to remember Max's motives to kill Spider-Man, Harry's plan to get Max to kill Spider-Man so he can make a deal with him, to get him to Oscorp so he can get the Spider-Venom to survive, and the whole mystery behind Peter and his dad. I think they definitely should have cut out one of the villains.
I had a friend once. It didn't work out.
Yeah, me too.
What does he mean it didn't work out? Peter literally did everything Harry wanted him to do. He even got Spider-Man to show up, and he came to check on him after his dad died. I was under the impression they were still good friends, but I guess not.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. That's just not the answer we were looking for.
I get that this is a Marvel movie and it's meant to have funny one-liners, but his delivery is so bad. The cockiness he says that line with just makes me cringe. Now this part's just really weird. Why did this set of doors open to a completely unrelated room that happens to have the Green Goblin suit inside of it? And why is Harry going towards it as if he knows it can somehow save him? She was dead set on going to England, and all he had to do to completely change her mind was write "I love you" in big letters. Maybe I should be taking notes.
Is that Max? He must have cut the power to the whole city.
What? Nah, what makes you think that? Oh, what the hell? That's just weird, I don't like that. This chip was on the right side of his head earlier, but it switches over to the left side here. This movie seems to have a lot of different moments where they mix up their left and right. First it was Spider-Man's hand earlier, then the broken glasses lens, and now this.
Gwen, stay there.
Is that a goblin I hear? Just the fact that Spider-Man wouldn't give him his literal blood is reason enough for Harry to want to kill him this bad? This is just a really weak motive. Electro at least had a decent motive to do what he did, but Harry's just kind of crazy for no real reason. Alright, can we take a minute to appreciate how fucking sick this scene looks? His movement's just so smooth. Who the hell is that? That's not Harry. This scene is always so heartbreaking to watch. It's definitely one of the better scenes in the movie. He's so close to saving her, but just barely doesn't make it. There were other alternate endings to this, one of which was Harry cutting the web she was hanging on, which caused her to fall to her death, another being Harry stabbing her to death, and the last one being breaking her neck with his bare hands. This one's what they went with though, because the others were much too graphic and wouldn't have been able to stay in the movie and keep a PG-13 rating. Harry's transformation into Green Goblin was also toned down a lot because the original scene was way too graphic and ended up giving the kids who test watched it nightmares. Specifically, the shots of his teeth shattering as they grew out. Blood should not just be coming out of her nose, she definitely hit her head on the ground. Surely it'd be busted open. Damn, this is so sad to watch. Andrew's acting here is actually amazing. Get it? 'Cause amazing Spider-Man? God damn, first their dad and now their sister, this family's just getting destroyed in these movies. Why did both of them end so unbelievably sad? The first one ended with Gwen's dad dying and them having to go to a funeral for him, and now they're having one for her.
You're looking better.
It comes and goes.
Why does it come and go? It seems like he'd just be stuck in that form. Doesn't really make sense that he'd be able to switch back and forth randomly. The script was originally way more put together, fleshing out the characters much more and setting up future storylines. It focused a lot more on Gwen and Peter's relationship, which was probably the best part of the first movie. It also focused a lot more on the villain's descent into madness instead of them having really weak motives. The studio ended up forcing them to cut out a lot of the scenes that would have made for an actual good movie and replace them with just pure action scenes, making this one of the worst Spider-Man movies ever made. That being said, it was better than I remember it being, but definitely still too hard to follow and too much was going on. I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10, and just in case anyone wanted to know, I'd give the first movie a high 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, comment what you want me to review next, and I hope you enjoyed this video.